You know, one day even you are gonna get tired of your shenanigans, so you might as well get your shit together. Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk with Tom. Today we're gonna talk about Bojack Horseman, unscripted. Not like a version of Bojack Horseman that's unscripted. I mean, like, but we not doing the script today. Why? Because scripts are for babies, and I don't know, I didn't really have time to write a script in between finishing up the show and recording on today, because I schedule when I record, because I'm an organized person. I decided, hey, let's talk about this show. So Bojack Horseman has gained popularity among millennials over the last couple years. That's been on Netflix. It's a Netflix original show. That's what it is. Because Netflix needs more original shows. It's a comedy show, which, like, yo, I think it's a funny show. I'm gonna praise Bojack Horseman right now, because I find it funny. I think it really hits some marks. Like, it really gets me at times where I'm like, yo, that thing they just did or said, that was funny. Sometimes they make jokes where I'm like, eh, but more often than not, it's actually funny. So for anyone who doesn't know, basically Bojack Horseman is about a horse. It's set in this strange world where anthropomorphic human animals are just like normal. They're commonplace. It doesn't need to be. That doesn't need to be a thing, but it is, and so we just kind of deal with it. Just don't ask questions. But it's set in Hollywood, later referred to as Hollywood, because of plot reasons I'm not going to necessarily go into, because you'll find out. It happens pretty early in the show. Just watch the show, and you'll know why it's called Hollywood instead of Hollywood. But it's basically just Hollywood. And it's LA, it's Los Angeles. It's about Bojack Horseman, who used to be on a sitcom that did really well. So, since it did really well, you know, when you got a sitcom like that, they air it on television for years after, and then you just get royalty checks. And you're set. You did it. You're done. You don't really need to do anything beyond that. You can just live out your life happily. Except Bojack Horseman isn't happy. He's a miserable piece of shit. That's his whole character. And I mean, it's not like he's completely given up on working. Like, he still goes for roles. You know, there's a point in the show where he's playing a role in a movie called Secretariat, where it's like, oh, I'm playing my hero, and he feels like he'll be happy, and then he's not happy. Because he's never happy, because that's the point of the show as well, is he's never going to be happy. The idea, from what I can understand, is that the show is making a point about existentialism and life, and basically saying, no matter how hard you try, if you keep trying too hard to be happy, you're never actually gonna be happy. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But the reason a lot of people cite for liking this show is because it's hashtag relatable. It's got that hashtag millennial angst, which I don't know what that is. I just put it down in my notes. Yeah, I'm using notes instead of a script. It doesn't matter. And honestly, I can't relate to the show. It's like this dude, he's depressed. Like, a lot of people have been depressed. I've been depressed, like, since I've become an adult, pretty much. I deal with depression constantly. But it's like, I don't relate to this guy, because it's like, okay, yeah, he's depressed, but he also has all this money. He's also surrounded by people who want him to get better, which is like a big thing. Like, he's surrounded by people who are all in his life, and they're all, like, rooting for him to do better than he is. And I actually like the side characters more, because they make sense. Some of them, Todd makes sense. Princess Carolyn, at first I didn't like her, but then as the story went on, I was like, yo, she's just trying to live her life. Like, that's all she wants. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And then Todd, he's like that wild card. People kind of treat him like he's dumb because he is a wild card, and I get that, because I act like the wild card and people act like I'm dumb, and it's insulting. And sometimes Todd is the one who makes the most sense. Like, I don't even remember what exactly it was, but there was one episode where Bojack came back to his house, and, like, he had left for a year, and, like, the house was a mess, and Todd was there, and Todd was mad at Bojack, and he was, like, apologizing, and he was like, yo, how many times have you apologized, though? Like, how many times have you said, oh, I'm so sorry, I want to do better, but, like, you never actually do better. Like, you never actually do anything to change.
can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You are all the things that are wrong with you. It's not the alcohol or the drugs or any of the shitty things that happened to you in your career or when you were a kid. It's you.
You just sit there being a rich guy who has sitcom in the 90s, and you're just living off that. I understand sometimes when writing a show like this, there's supposed to be characters where it's like you're not supposed to like them. Like, Bojack isn't necessarily supposed to be a good person, and I understand that. But the idea when you make your main protagonist, who's written in a way where you're supposed to have sympathy for him, he's at least supposed to be likable. Like, you're supposed to at least be able to have some sort of a connection with the character. I feel completely disconnected from Bojack when I watch this show. I guess, like, for the normal person, he's either the person that those people want to be, or those people are just, they act like him. All the impulsiveness, the substance abuse, the inability to take responsibility for his own actions, and also he did almost have sex with an underage girl, and they just kind of expect you to kind of forgive that, and like that's a really, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not gonna forgive pedophilia. I'm sorry if that's like controversial, but it's like he just isn't a likable character to me. Like, there are points, like it goes in and out where it's like sometimes it does seem like he's legitimately trying to be a better person and he's trying to do the right thing, and in those moments I start to relate to him. I start to get it. But then he just goes back to being the same old asshole who acts like he can do whatever he wants. And in that point in time, I just lose all respect. But like I said, the show is funny. And there are a lot of things to unpack in this show. Like, there's a lot of things, and I don't mean that in like a negative way. There are a lot of things that you can just explore. Like, Mr. Peanut Butter is a character. Like, he's kind of a bait and switch. Like, he's introduced as like this guy where he's one of those people where he's so perfect that you hate him. Like, we all know that person where it's like they're talented, people like them, they're nice. Like, you have no reason to hate them, but you hate them. And it comes from a place of jealousy usually. Sometimes people are smug about it, and that's a good reason to hate them, but like people like Mr. Peanut Butter, he's just being nice. Like, he's not a smart guy. He's pretty dumb, but there's something wrong with being dumb. If you're nice, like, that's way more important than being smart. Like, being dumb is way more forgivable than being an asshole. And when you look at him and Bojack, like, Bojack's an asshole and he's dumb. So therefore, like, kind of starts to make sense why people like Mr. Peanut Butter more than they like Bojack, because Bojack's just a miserable fuck. And over time you actually kind of start to like Mr. Peanut Butter just based on the fact that you get so tired of Bojack being a miserable fuck, or at least I did. That's actually pretty refreshing to have just a naive dude come in and be like, hey, look at me, I'm a dog man. This show is a furry show. This is definitely a furry show. Represent, I guess. The last thing I want to touch on real quick before I wrap this up is I want to talk about the fact that there are a number of episodes in this series that perfectly replicate the feeling that I have when I have nightmares when I'm super stressed out, which is really weird, and it makes me really uncomfortable. Like, the underwater episode, just like the environment of it and the fact that like he couldn't talk or communicate with people, it was like, oh god, this is one of those nightmares. Or the blackout episode, where it was like he didn't know what he was doing and he was just like blacking out, and it would like jump ahead and he would be like, crap, I don't know what I just did, and he would have done like something really bad and he would be doing more and more drugs and deteriorating more and more as a person. Yep, this is what I have nightmares about. And also the episode where Todd had like a ton of things to do and people were like, oh, can you go and do this for me? Can you go and do this for me? He would have to like kind of compromise certain things. He would do things late and he wouldn't be able to do things properly, and essentially everything either ended up not getting done or things just got worse because of how it was done. And I was like, yeah, I have nightmares about this constantly, all the time. Like, these are things that I consistently have nightmares about, or at least this is how my nightmares consistently feel. It's really weird to think now how often I have anxiety-induced nightmares, to the point where watching a TV show can like bring that out in me, where I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what's going on. It's like, ooh man, like this is making me hella uncomfortable because it's making me think about that dream I had 3 weeks ago where everything was just falling apart. Yeah, that's all I got to say about Bojack Horseman though. It's like the animated Stranger Things. Everyone you know has watched it, and if you haven't watched it, then everyone's like, man, you gotta watch that show. Oh shit, we still rolling? Let's go home. Thank you for watching Let's Talk with Tom on the Roundtable, but Tom isn't just on the Roundtable. I have my own self-titled personal channel. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Snapchat, I have all that good stuff. In fact, I even have a Tumblr. So, if you're interested in any of that, check that out, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!